entirely unrelated to this video, but first, all over my Twitter feed has been accusations of certain common hand gestures being symbols of white supremacy. Now, it turns out this is a troll perpetrated by 4chan's politically incorrect board. And the funniest part is that the three symbols that I've seen accused of white supremacy are actually just Kekistani sign language. And they simply mean Chatelet, praise Kek. That's it. That's all it means. It's innocuous. Stop oppressing us. So, yesterday, that's May 1st, as of this recording, there was a series of explosions in downtown Toronto. Now, I live in Toronto, and not St. John's, as some would have you believe. So I was relieved to discover no one was hurt. I was also relieved to discover this was not a terrorist attack. And I'm sure it says more about me to find it refreshing that an explosion in a major city of a developed nation is not a terrorist attack than it says about the state of the world. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't say anything about the state of the world. But I'm willing to admit it may be me. I can accept that. Not at all related to what wasn't a terrorist attack. Religion. I've always been skeptical of religion in general, and religious fundamentalism specifically. And this might actually be cultural. I remember a comedian, John Wing, had this bit about Canadians' slightly more pragmatic approach to religion. I'm going to butcher the delivery, but the line, I believe, goes, "Sure, Canadians believe Jesus walked on water. They just figure it was probably winter." So, we're willing to accept the miracle, but we also maybe are a little more skeptical of how it happened. And I don't know, I don't want to offend anybody, not that I care that much, but that's not my purpose here. And I don't want to, if you are religious, in the handful of people that actually watch my videos, bear with me for a second. It's always seemed to me that there's a certain gullibility is required, or at least a suspension of disbelief, to accept religion, especially fundamentally, like as a literalist. Considering everything that we know about science, we have 2,000 years of development of math and science and our accumulated knowledge. It just seems like everything is harder and harder to believe. Now, the thing is, if you can suspend that disbelief, if you have that hint of gullibility, there's reasons to be religious. Moses freed the slaves by calling down 10 plagues onto Egypt and then parted the Red Sea to ensure their escape. I find that difficult to believe, but if you can believe it, those are miraculous occurrences that are suddenly excellent evidence that this man, Moses, was in direct contact with God. And as such are excellent reasons to follow the man and his religion, if you can believe it. Jesus healed the sick, cast out demons, rose from the dead. Now, I have trouble believing those stories, but if you believe them, they become evidence that this man was in direct contact with God. And as such, are good reasons to follow the man and his religion. Now, maybe I'm not properly educated on this one, but I don't know of Muhammad's miraculous doings. As far as I know, Muhammad married a 6-year-old, laid down laws from which he was somehow exempt, and started a bunch of military incursions across the Middle East. Those are just like, those aren't miraculous events. They're just things people did at the time. Where's my miracle evidence that this man was in direct contact with God? Now, again, I'm not an expert. And if there are such miraculous events that I'm missing, someone please tell me. But what I'm getting at is, and this is where it starts to seem counterintuitive to me, the less believable your religion is, the more of a reason it is to follow that religion. Is that... Yeah, I sound like I've lost my mind. If you can believe the impossible, then you can follow those religions. It makes sense to follow those religions. But if you believe that a guy married a 6-year-old, laid down laws that didn't follow them, and started a bunch of wars, that there's nothing miraculous. There's no impossible thing there. The fuck? My favorite Jesus memes. Okay, stop me if you heard this one. Why God was never offered tenure at a major university. He only ever wrote one book. Experts agree, he didn't even write it himself. He kicked his first 2 students out of his classroom for learning. When his first experiment failed, he drowned all the test subjects. There's a ton more that I don't remember, but just search God tenure. I'm sure you'll find something. It's hilarious. Relevant links to shit I said in the description? Maybe. I'm Irvin Twin. Like, subscribe, or don't. It's a free country. At least it used to be.